Now, the latest from the manslaughter trial of Michael Jackson's doctor. On Wednesday, prosecutors played a disturbing recording of the singer speaking in a slow, slurred voice.
There was a lot of concern about kidnapping the body, about vandalizing the body.
Just moments ago, headlines erupted with a stunning claim. Michael Jackson, long thought to be gone, has been spotted alive at 65. His childhood was shaped by his father's iron will and his mother's gentle care, a life defined by strict discipline and fleeting moments of tenderness. Could his past hold clues to the shocking revelations that would later emerge? As the world reels from this astonishing sighting, stay with us as we uncover the truth behind this unbelievable story. Family hardships and his rise to star. In a cramped two-bedroom house in Gary, Indiana, a young Michael Jackson grew up under the strict discipline of his father, Joe Jackson. With a belt in hand, Joe demanded perfection from his children, leaving Michael living in constant fear. But amidst the hardships, there was a glimmer of hope. His mother, Catherine, a gentle soul with unfulfilled dreams of becoming a country singer, Catherine instead focused on supporting her family, working part-time at Sears, and dedicating herself to her faith as a Jehovah's Witness. Life in the Jackson household was a roller coaster of emotions. The house was always filled with music and laughter from Michael's siblings, but tragedy also lurked in the shadows. The loss of Michael's baby brother, Brandon, left a deep scar on the family. Despite the pain, music became their solace. At just 5 years old, Michael joined his brothers in a musical group that would later become the Jackson 5. With his soulful voice and electrifying dance moves, Michael quickly became the lead singer, captivating audiences at local talent shows.
I'll be there.
Imagine a young Michael, barely out of kindergarten, belting out songs like Barefootin' and My Girl, leaving crowds in awe. This was just the beginning of his journey to stardom. The Jackson 5's big break came in 1967 when they won an amateur night competition at the famed Apollo Theater in Harlem. This victory opened the door to their first single, Big Boy, recorded back in Gary, Indiana. But it was their performance at the Miss Black America pageant in 1969 that truly propelled them into the spotlight. Diana Ross introduced the group to the world, and Michael's talent shone brightest of all. From studio sounds to superstardom. Picture a young Michael Jackson standing in the recording studio of Motown Records in Los Angeles. The year was 1967, and the Jackson 5 had just signed a record deal that would change their lives forever. With Diana Ross's guidance, the group released their first single, I Want You Back, which skyrocketed to #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. This was just the beginning of a string of hits that would cement Michael's status as a pop icon. But Michael wasn't content to remain in the shadow of his brothers. In 1971, at the tender age of 13, he embarked on a solo career that would redefine the music industry. His first solo single, Got to Be There, showcased his incredible vocal range and emotional depth. But it was his fifth solo album, Off the Wall, released in 1979, that truly launched him into the stratosphere of superstardom. Produced by Quincy Jones, Off the Wall was a groundbreaking fusion of pop, soul, funk, and disco. The album's first single, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, with its infectious beat and Michael's signature falsetto, became an instant classic. It earned Michael his first Grammy Award and set the stage for an album that would sell over 20 million copies worldwide. But Michael wasn't done yet. In 1982, he released Thriller, which would become the best-selling album of all time, with estimated sales of 66 million copies. The album's impact was not just commercial, but cultural. Michael's music videos for songs like Billie Jean and Beat It were mini-movies, featuring groundbreaking dance routines and special effects. The Thriller video, in particular, was a 14-minute horror-themed masterpiece that revolutionized the music video industry. Michael's live performances were equally legendary. His moonwalk, first performed during the Motown 25th anniversary special in 1983, became one of the most iconic dance moves of all time. His performances were electrifying, leaving audiences spellbound and cementing his status as the King of Pop. The reign of the King of Pop. As Michael Jackson's fame soared to unprecedented heights, so did his impact on popular culture. His music videos, with their cinematic quality and groundbreaking special effects, set a new standard for the industry. The 14-minute Thriller video, released in 1983, was more than just a music video. It was a short film that revolutionized the genre. Directed by John Landis, the video featured Michael transforming into a werewolf and a zombie, showcasing his incredible dance skills and captivating audiences with its storytelling. But Thriller was just one of many groundbreaking videos that Michael created. The video for Beat It, released in 1983, featured Michael bringing together two rival gangs through the power of music and dance. The video for Billie Jean, also released in 1983, introduced the world to Michael's signature moonwalk, a dance move that would become synonymous with his name. Michael's live performances were just as legendary as his music videos. His 1987 Bad World Tour was a spectacular display of his talent and showmanship. The tour included 123 concerts across 15 countries, drawing in over 4.4 million fans and grossing over $125 million, making it the highest-grossing tour of all time by a solo artist. Michael's performances were electrifying, featuring stunning vocal performances, intricate dance routines, and elaborate stage sets. Throughout his career, Michael received numerous awards and accolades. He won 13 Grammy Awards, including the prestigious Grammy Legend Award and the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice, once as a member of the Jackson 5 and once as a solo artist. He was also inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame and the Dance Hall of Fame. But Michael's impact extended far beyond the music industry. He was a dedicated philanthropist and humanitarian, using his platform to raise awareness and funds for various charitable causes. In 1985, he co-wrote "We Are the World" with Lionel Richie, a charity single that raised over $60 million for famine relief in Africa. He also supported numerous other charities, including the United Negro College Fund, the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and the Elizabeth Taylor AIDS Foundation. Behind the glove, personal struggles and triumphs. Behind the glitter and glamour of Michael Jackson's public persona, there was a man grappling with personal struggles and challenges. In the mid-1980s, Michael was diagnosed with vitiligo, a skin condition that causes loss of pigmentation. As his skin began to lighten, rumors swirled that he was intentionally bleaching his skin to appear more white. Michael denied these rumors, stating that he was simply managing his condition with makeup and skin treatments. But vitiligo wasn't the only health issue that Michael faced. He was also diagnosed with lupus, a chronic autoimmune disease that can cause joint pain, fatigue, and skin rashes. Despite these challenges, Michael continued to push himself creatively and physically, often rehearsing and performing through pain and exhaustion. In his personal life, Michael's relationships and marriages were the subject of much public scrutiny. In 1994, he married Lisa Marie Presley, the daughter of Elvis Presley. The marriage surprised many and was often speculated to be a publicity stunt. The couple divorced less than 2 years later, with Lisa Marie citing irreconcilable differences. In 1996, Michael married his second wife, Debbie Rowe, a nurse he had met through his dermatologist. The couple had 2 children together, Prince and Paris, before divorcing in 1999. Michael later had a third child, Prince Michael II, also known as Blanket Jackson and Biggie Jackson, through a surrogate mother. Throughout his life, Michael's love for children was a constant theme. In 1988, he purchased a 2,700-acre property in California and transformed it into Neverland Ranch, a sprawling estate with an amusement park, zoo, and movie theater. Named after the fictional world of Peter Pan, Neverland became a symbol of Michael's desire to create a sanctuary for himself and the children he welcomed there. Moonwalking through controversies. Imagine being the most famous person on the planet, your every move scrutinized, your every word dissected. For Michael Jackson, this was a reality he couldn't escape. As his star rose higher and higher, so too did the media's obsession with his personal life. Rumors swirled about his changing appearance, his relationships, and his eccentric behavior. However, it was the allegations of child molestation that would prove to be the most damaging to his career and his psyche. The first allegations surfaced in 1993 when a 13-year-old boy accused Michael of sexual abuse. The news sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry and the world at large. Michael vehemently denied the allegations, but the damage was done. The case was eventually settled out of court for a reported $23 million, but the stigma remained. The allegations took a toll on Michael's mental and physical health. He became increasingly reclusive, rarely appearing in public and spending most of his time at his Neverland ranch. His music career also suffered, with his album sales and tour revenues declining sharply in the wake of the scandal. But Michael refused to let the allegations define him. In 1995, he released the album History, Past, Present, and Future, Book 1, which addressed the controversy head-on with songs like Scream and They Don't Care About Us. The album was a commercial success, selling over 20 million copies worldwide and proving that Michael's fans had not abandoned him. Despite his best efforts to move on, the allegations continued to haunt Michael for the rest of his life. In 2003, he was arrested and charged with 7 counts of child molestation and 2 counts of administering an intoxicating agent. The trial that followed was a media circus, with fans and detractors alike watching every moment with bated breath. In the end, Michael was acquitted of all charges, but the damage to his reputation was irreparable. The magic of Michael, artistry and innovation. In a world before YouTube and social media, Michael Jackson was a trailblazer in the art of music videos. His videos were not mere promotional tools. They were cinematic events that pushed the boundaries of what was possible in the medium. From the noir-inspired Billie Jean to the zombie dance party of Thriller, Michael's videos brilliantly illuminated his creative genius and his fearless approach to artistic risk-taking. But it wasn't just his own videos that Michael revolutionized. As a producer and songwriter, he collaborated with some of the biggest names in the business, from Paul McCartney to Freddie Mercury to Diana Ross. These collaborations yielded some of the most iconic songs of the 20th century, including Say, 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 State of Shock, and Ease on Down the Road. Perhaps the most famous of these collaborations was Michael's work with legendary producer Quincy Jones. Together, they created 3 of the best-selling albums of all time: Off the Wall, Thriller, and Bad. These albums showcased Michael's incredible range as a vocalist and a songwriter, blending pop, rock, soul, and funk into a sound that was uniquely his own. But Michael's artistry extended beyond the recording studio. His live performances were legendary, featuring elaborate stagecraft, pyrotechnics, and of course, his signature dance moves. From the moonwalk to the robot, Michael's moves inspired countless imitators and cemented his status as one of the greatest entertainers of all time. Even as he pushed the boundaries of pop music, Michael never lost sight of his roots in soul and R&B. His performances on shows like Soul Train and Motown 25 vividly demonstrated his deep love and respect for Black music and culture. He may have been the king of pop, but he never forgot where he came from. Business mogul, investments and record-breaking deals. Behind the glitz and glamour of Michael Jackson's public persona was a savvy businessman who knew how to make a deal. In 1985, he made one of the most prescient moves of his career when he bought the publishing rights to the Beatles' catalog for $47.5 million. At the time, it seemed like a risky investment, but it proved to be a stroke of genius. The catalog, which included hits like Yesterday and Hey Jude, has since been estimated to be worth over $1 billion. But the Beatles' catalog was just the tip of the iceberg. Michael's business empire extended to every corner of the entertainment industry, from music to film to fashion. He signed record-breaking endorsement deals with companies like Pepsi and Sony, netting tens of millions of dollars in the process. He also launched his own clothing line called Michael Jackson Signatures, which featured his iconic fedora and single white glove. Of course, Michael's biggest moneymaker was his music. His albums sold in the tens of millions, with Thriller alone estimated to have sold over 66 million copies worldwide. His tours were also massive undertakings, with the Bad Tour grossing over $125 million and the Dangerous Tour grossing over $140 million. But it wasn't just about the money for Michael. He was also a fierce advocate for artists' rights and fought tirelessly to secure better royalty rates and more control over his own music. In 1993, he made history by signing a $60 million contract with Sony Music, which included an unprecedented $5 million advance per album and a 25% royalty rate. Even in death, Michael's business empire continues to thrive. His estate has earned over $2 billion since his passing in 2009, thanks in large part to the enduring popularity of his music and the shrewd management of his assets. From Cirque du Soleil shows to posthumous album releases, Michael's legacy lives on, both on stage and on the balance sheet. Unmasking the myths, separating fact from fiction. For all his fame and success, Michael Jackson remains one of the most enigmatic and misunderstood figures in pop culture history. His life was a swirl of rumors, speculation, and outright fabrications, many of which persist to this day. One of the most persistent myths is that Michael bleached his skin to appear more white. In reality, he suffered from vitiligo, a condition that causes patches of skin to lose pigment. He used makeup and skin treatments to even out his complexion, but he never denied his black heritage. Another myth that has dogged Michael for decades is that he slept in a hyperbaric oxygen chamber to slow the aging process. While he did once pose for a photo in a chamber, he later claimed it was a publicity stunt for a sci-fi movie he was planning to make. The rumor, however, took on a life of its own and became a staple of tabloid fodder. Perhaps the most controversial myth surrounding Michael is the allegation that he converted to Islam before his death. The rumor began circulating in 2008 when Michael was spotted wearing a traditional Muslim women's garment called an abaya while visiting Bahrain. Some took this as evidence that he had embraced the faith, but his family and close friends have consistently denied the claim. In fact, Michael's brother Jermaine, who is himself a practicing Muslim, has stated that Michael never converted and remained a Jehovah's Witness until his dying day. But for every myth that has been debunked, there are countless others that remain shrouded in mystery. Did Michael really own the Elephant Man's bones? Did he father a secret love child with his dermatologist's nurse? Did he undergo numerous plastic surgeries to alter his appearance? The truth, as is often the case with Michael, is far more complex than any rumor could suggest. The final curtain, comeback and tragedy. Picture this. The iconic Michael Jackson, 50 years old, preparing for his grand comeback. After years of personal struggles and public scrutiny, he was ready to reclaim his throne as the king of pop. The world watched in anticipation as he announced a series of sold-out concerts at London's O2 Arena, aptly named "This Is It." Fans from every corner of the globe scrambled to get their hands on tickets, eager to witness the magic that only Michael could create on stage. Behind the scenes, Michael was pushing himself to the limit. He knew that these shows had to be perfect, a dazzling monument to his enduring legacy and unparalleled talent. He assembled a team of the best dancers, musicians, and stage designers money could buy, and threw himself into grueling rehearsals that often stretched late into the night. Those close to him worried about the toll it was taking on his body, but Michael was determined to give his fans the show of a lifetime. But fate had other plans. On June 25, 2009, just weeks before the first This Is It concert was set to take place, Michael was found unresponsive in his Los Angeles home. Paramedics rushed him to the hospital, but it was too late. The king of pop was gone, leaving behind a world in shock and a legacy that would never be forgotten. The news of Michael's death spread like wildfire, and soon the entire planet was in mourning. Fans gathered outside his childhood home in Gary, Indiana, leaving flowers, candles, and heartfelt notes. Impromptu memorials sprung up in cities across the globe, from New York to Tokyo to Paris. The outpouring of grief was unlike anything the world had ever seen, a powerful revelation of the profound impact Michael had had on millions of lives. As the world struggled to come to terms with the loss, questions began to emerge about the circumstances surrounding Michael's death. An investigation was launched, and soon, disturbing details began to emerge. It was revealed that Michael had been heavily dependent on prescription drugs, particularly the anesthetic propofol, which he used to combat chronic insomnia. His personal physician, Dr. Conrad Murray, had been administering the drug to him on a nightly basis, a practice that was both reckless and unethical. In the end, Dr. Murray was charged with involuntary manslaughter and sentenced to 4 years in prison. But for Michael's family, friends, and fans, the pain of his loss would never fully heal. He had been taken from them too soon, a bright star extinguished in his prime. Forever the king, legacy and influence. In the wake of Michael Jackson's untimely death, the world came together to celebrate his life and legacy. His music soared back to the top of the charts, with his albums and songs dominating the airwaves and streaming platforms. It was a reminder of just how deeply his artistry had touched people's lives, transcending generations, cultures, and borders. But Michael's influence went far beyond his music. He had been a pioneer in every sense of the word, pushing the boundaries of what was possible in pop culture. His music videos, with their cinematic scope and groundbreaking special effects, had redefined the genre and inspired countless imitators. His fashion choices, from the single white glove to the red leather jacket, had become iconic symbols of his artistry and personal style. Perhaps most importantly, Michael had been a trailblazer in breaking down racial barriers in the music industry. He was one of the first Black artists to achieve massive crossover success, paving the way for generations of musicians who would follow in his footsteps. His ability to unite people through his music was striking evidence of art's transcendent power to bridge differences and bring people together. In the years since his passing, Michael's legacy has only continued to grow. His estate has released posthumous albums and documentaries, offering fans a glimpse into the creative process behind some of his most iconic works. His music has been featured in countless films, TV shows, and commercials, cementing his status as a cultural touchstone for generations to come. But perhaps the most enduring aspect of Michael's legacy is the way he continues to inspire artists and fans alike. From Bruno Mars to Beyoncé to Justin Timberlake, countless musicians have cited Michael as a key influence on their work. His songs have been covered and sampled by everyone from Alicia Keys to Kanye West, living proof of the timeless appeal of his music. Even beyond the music industry, Michael's influence can be felt in the way he challenged conventions and pushed for social change. His humanitarian work, from his support of AIDS research to his efforts to combat world hunger, inspired millions to make a difference in their own communities. His message of love, unity, and compassion continues to resonate with people around the world, a reminder of the power of one person to make a positive impact on the world. The unbreakable record, Michael Jackson's unique achievements. When it comes to musical achievements, few artists can hold a candle to Michael Jackson. Over the course of his 4-decade career, the king of pop racked up a staggering array of accomplishments that remain unmatched to this day. His influence was so great that it's hard to imagine what the music industry would look like without him. Consider this. Michael's 1982 album Thriller remains the best-selling album of all time, with over 66 million copies sold worldwide. It spent an astonishing 37 weeks at the top of the Billboard 200 chart and produced 7 top 10 singles, including Billie Jean, Beat It, and the title track. To put that in perspective, no other album in history has even come close to matching that level of success. But Thriller was just the tip of the iceberg when it came to Michael's accomplishments. He holds the record for the most Grammy Awards won by a male solo artist, with 13 wins and 38 nominations. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice, once as a member of the Jackson 5 and again as a solo artist. He was also inducted into the Dance Hall of Fame, the Songwriters Hall of Fame, and the Vocal Group Hall of Fame, compelling evidence of his unmatched versatility as an artist. Michael's live performances were equally legendary. His 1993 Super Bowl halftime show, which featured a medley of his greatest hits and a stunning rendition of Heal the World, remains one of the most watched television broadcasts of all time, with over 133 million viewers. His 1997 History World Tour was attended by over 4.5 million fans across 58 cities, grossing over $165 million and setting a new record for the highest-grossing solo tour of all time. But perhaps the most remarkable thing about Michael's achievements is the way they continue to endure, even decades after his passing. His music remains a staple of radio playlists and streaming services, and his influence can be heard in the work of countless contemporary artists. From Bruno Mars to The Weeknd to Janelle Monáe, Michael's legacy lives on in the music of today and tomorrow. The mysterious afterlife, death, rumors, and conspiracy theories. In the years since Michael Jackson's tragic death, rumors and conspiracy theories have continued to swirl, some stranger than others. Some believe the king of pop faked his own death to escape the pressures of fame, while others claim to have spotted him in secret hideaways across the globe. Some even insist that hidden messages in his music and videos hint at a carefully orchestrated plan. But speculation reached new heights when a shocking claim emerged. At 65 years old, Michael Jackson opens up about everything. Reports surfaced of alleged sightings, with some insisting the media had lied to the public about Michael's death. Others claimed to have seen him in a hospital. The idea that he had staged his disappearance and was now ready to return sent fans into a frenzy. Yet after the initial buzz, the claim faded into the background, leaving behind only more unanswered questions. At the heart of many theories lies the mystery of Michael's final resting place. Reports initially stated that he would be buried at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Glendale, California, alongside Hollywood icons like Walt Disney and Elizabeth Taylor. But when the day arrived, fans and media were kept away from the ceremony, sparking speculation about what might have happened behind closed doors. Some believe Michael's body was never actually buried at Forest Lawn, suggesting he was cremated or hidden away in a secret location. Others argue that he had been planning his disappearance for years, leaving behind cryptic messages for fans to decipher. Alleged sightings have surfaced over time, from a shadowy figure at his children's graduation to a blurred presence in family photos. Despite all the speculation, no credible evidence supports these theories, and those closest to Michael have consistently dismissed them. Yet, the rumors refuse to fade, fueled by grief, mystery, and the enduring legend of one of music's most iconic figures. The Man in the Mirror, reflecting on Michael Jackson's life. As we look back on the life and legacy of Michael Jackson, it's impossible not to marvel at the sheer magnitude of his impact on the world. Here was a man who rose from humble beginnings in Gary, Indiana, to become the most famous entertainer on the planet, a global icon whose music and artistry touched the lives of millions. And yet, for all his success and all his talent, Michael remained a deeply complex and often troubled figure. a man whose personal struggles and public controversies often threaten to overshadow his incredible achievements. Perhaps what is most remarkable about Michael's story is the way he was able to achieve such massive success without the benefit of the social media tools that today's artists take for granted. In an era before Twitter and Instagram, before YouTube and Spotify, Michael had to rely on his raw talent and his innate charisma to connect with audiences around the world. And connect he did, in a way that few artists before or since have been able to match. But for all his success, Michael was no stranger to personal challenges and setbacks. From his difficult childhood under the watchful eye of his father Joe, to his later struggles with addiction and the persistent rumors and allegations that dogged him throughout his career, Michael had to navigate a world that could be both adoring and unforgiving in equal measure. And yet, through it all, he remained committed to his art and to his message of love and unity, using his platform to promote humanitarian causes and to bring people together across all boundaries. When we think of Michael Jackson today, it's easy to get lost in the myth and the legend, to focus on the iconic moments and the unforgettable performances. But perhaps the most enduring aspect of his legacy is the way he reminds us of the power of music to transform lives and to bring people together. In a world that can often feel fractured and divided, Michael's music remains a beacon of hope and unity, a reminder that we are all part of something greater than ourselves. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.